Jennifer from Belladonna's Botanicals, and tonight I want to talk about, and this is going to be my third video in which I'm talking about the impact of AI bleepity bleepity bleep on the occult and pagan community, specifically focusing more on that since it's more relevant to my channel and my business and my life and etc. So this week, excuse me, there was an article published on the Wild Hunt about pagan authors being impacted by AI services like ChatGPT. So I'll give you a little bit of the TLDR of this and then kind of go into my spiel. Because as we all know by this point in time, based on the previous two videos, a link below, and I'll also link the Wild Hunt article, fuck AI. So this is the problem, is that within these, the developers of like Meta, OpenAI, ChatGPT, and a host of others, is that they have in their database, they have 191,000 published copyrighted titles. Not just occult, this is everything. Of that, 183,000 of them were scraped from online sources and used entirely without the permission of the authors who created that work, nor compensation. So there's a number of pagan authors that are on there. Now, with someone like, there's a lot from like the Llewellyn and Red Wheel Weiser Publishing. So like they give some examples of like, here's all the stuff on Scott Cunningham you can find in there. So now this isn't stuff that's in public domain or anything like that. I mean, we're talking a lot about authors, like people like me who would be, I'm not freaking, Stephen King, and nor are a lot of other occult authors, and the amount of money they make from publishing isn't, again, they're not Stephen King or Oprah or whatever. So it's literally like taking, food out of people's mouths to support themselves, their families, their children, etc. So what the article in Wild Hunt goes on to say is that with so many of these written works having been pirated to fuel the, what I call plagiarism machine, but the AI generative systems, which they also refer to as large language models, it's machine learning. I talked about in the first video I did on AI. There are also legal battles going on with a lot of big name authors like George R.R. Martin, John Grisham, etc., who are suing these, and I hope they fucking win. Because, it's not, I mean, copyright exists for a reason. This is just what people don't realize, and you're just falling into the latest tech bro cash grab. And it's the equivalent of, you remember the pharmacy bro thing where the dude was like, hey, let's just charge like thousands of dollars for insulin to make some money for, that kind of thing. Ew. That's what you're supporting, tech bros. Now, it's not to say AI doesn't have its purposes. It's been integrated in a lot of things like, Alexa, Siri, your apps on your phone to, do this or that or the other thing. But these are different. And it's not that they're just, doing something like, give me, Alexa, play, blah, blah, Home Sweet Home by Motley Crue, or give me directions to Wawa or Sheets. So basically, like this goes on, this is a really interesting point, is that these generative systems still lack the ability to create anything new, since they're merely stitching together information accessed through databases and are completely reliant on their programming. And sometimes the information that's pulled into those databases, like if you're trying to write like an academic paper or write a book from this shit, number one, get a fucking life and learn a thing. But it's garbage in, garbage out. Like, are you going to write a book based on Reddit and subreddit or Wikipedia posts and stuff like that? No. If you do, ew. And you're not a very good author at that point. So So yeah, it's like the poor sources. There's a lot of ethical concerns when it comes to these AI generated generative systems, because not only if you're using this to write something, it's now gobbling up all the stuff that you're using it for and your information. So you're shooting yourself in the foot to have like a bullshit cheap ass workaround. Um, so now what this means for pagan authors now, again, we're not, pagan community isn't, a lot of the authors, even the big name authors, are not selling because it's such a niche genre. Um, so, they already see very little financial return from, their works, from whatever, whether they're through a publishing company, whether they're self-published, etc. And there are guilds that exist for writers as well, maybe not as big as like the Screen Actors Guild and the Writers Guild, but there are ones that, pagan authors can join. But, it's there's no clear way right now to protect written works, your intellectual property, and your copyrighted materials. And that's a real problem. Um, it's been a daunting issue throughout, the past 20 years in the digital age. I mean, there are so many, I see them all the time on Etsy, so many like pirated PDF books being sold, that are not even plagiarized. They're just like, I took, X book, now I have a PDF of it, and I'm going to sell the PDF of that book. That's not a book by me, not a book I have permission to reproduce or sell and make money off of, and that's what people are doing. So, yeah. So, here are my thoughts. I just wanted to give you a little bit of the TLDR from the article. I'll link it below so you can read the whole thing. It goes into, there's some quotes and stuff from Michelle Bellinger, Deborah Blake, I believe, which are two occult authors. So here's the problem in general. And it's not just occult authors, it's all authors, is that pirated books and copyright material have been used to train AI without their consent and without compensation, and it's used in training for that. Excuse me. The additional problem of this is that when, the people looking to make a quick buck are going to start promoting, write and self-publish, using AI to write books that generate text from illegal copyrighted sources. And, again, there's some dangers to this. Now, you might not think, well, Jen, it's a book on, witchcraft. How much harm can be done? Let's talk about the AI generated wild foraging books. Do you know what water hemlock looks like, or poison hemlock? They're in the, the Apiaceae family, which also has things like carrots, and wild carrots, watercress, I think, parsley maybe, but there's a lot of things that look very similar from that same botanical family that won't kill you, but if you mix it up with the water hemlock, bye. So I would not trust a book that was AI generated on wild foraging. I would, at best use it for Kindle and burning a fire. Like, that's about it. So the danger here is that AI poses the threat to, like, if your work's just going to be ripped off, pulled into derivative works without your consent, without your compensation, without, at least a bibliography source saying, hey, I read these books on this thing, and this is how I, did this. People are just not gonna produce. Why would I spend a year writing a book knowing that? That's the reality I may face. So proposes a conundrum, and I know a lot of authors in the occult metaphysical sphere, so it does pose a conundrum as to, okay, what next? How do we deal with this? Um, or is it worth it to even still be a writer? Or let's look at going to other methods in which maybe we can't quite be ripped off. You might be looking at more. I'm guessing with ChatGPT. I have not used it, and I refuse to use any of these AI things. So the sad thing is like every single freaking website and service now offers AI bells and whistles. I'm like, no, I don't want to use AI. Because that's how I feel about it. So again, we're looking at reliable information and vetted sources and things that are fact checked. Like, I'm sorry, opinions aren't facts. Like, I can tell you factually information about, hey, don't eat the poison hemlock or the water hemlock. I can tell you all about the scientific facts of that. But an opinion piece on that, or something that's cobbled together through AI bullshit, no, it's not going to grasp that. And a lot of times the things that it churns out are just laughably poorly written. Yeah, so basically the TLDR, if you're using ChatGPT to generate things like that, you're committing plagiarism. So, you know, I hope you sleep well at night. Because I'm kind of at the point, like, if you're offended, good. Be more offended. I don't care. And from an accessibility standpoint, is that a lot of occult books are not in audio for people who are visually impaired or audibly impaired, or both. They're not a lot for at least someone who's visually impaired. A lot of these books are not available in audio format where someone professionally reads it. Um, so with doing the screen readers or the text to voice things, they're very robotic sounding, and like I hate that. A lot of people use those in TikTok videos, and it's just nails down a chalkboard kind of annoying. But the big question I have is, like, we're looking at all these fake ass artists, promptologists, whatever, um, using AI to the detriment of people who have spent their life, probably thousands of dollars in education, to learn how to, be an artist, or how to write, or how to make videos, or how to do this, or how to do that, and all the research, and flushing it down the toilet for a quick buck. And it's a bunch of no talent hacks. And I'm sorry if you're offended, please be more offended. This is the hill I'm willing to die on. So, anyways, yeah, it's the AI, all these things, OpenAI, ChatGPT, every single AI app that is art, photography, or writing related are plagiarism machines. So I guess I'll end on one note. Yeah, wonder what the dark web's doing with AI? Yeah. Probably not great stuff. Probably not great stuff. So when you've uploaded your pictures to make your kid look like a baby angel, floating on a ceiling somewhere, guess what that's probably being used for? Yeah. Anyways. Always stick to the humans are awful. And that's the danger of it. And people are just so willy-nilly jumping on the bandwagon of, using AI because they can. And it just, like, there's so many things I see people posting and sharing on Facebook. I'm like, you can tell AI does one thing terribly, and that's symmetry. It does not, like, if my picture was in here in these glasses. Like if you tried to match up like all the symmetrical design on either side, it would be so off. It would be so off if it was in AI that was designed this way. Because for some reason it just does not visually pull the same way. Or it's like, this hand has 5 fingers, this one has 25. And they're 50 feet long. You know? It's AI art is not that great. I'm sorry. It's just not. And I hate to, I'd say I hate to keep ranting about this, but I'm trying to educate people on what this is doing to the creative communities and what this means until there is legislation in place, until there are very clear rules of compensation or consent. It's a gross violation of people's work and rights and stuff like that. And maybe it's not the biggest issue known to humanity, but it could be. Do you want AI running a nuclear power plant? Do you want AI, flying your plane? Probably not. There's some things you need the humanity of. And that's, in the other videos I talk about this too, especially with the AI generated tarot decks and art. It's missing the humanity. It might look pretty bells and whistles for, people who have no visual acuity of understanding what actually is good art. But, sorry, I have, my degree is in art history, bitch critic. But it's not that great. It really is not. Like, digital art I love digital art because, you're still creating something. Whether you draw something and upload it and then edit it, whether you've got a tablet and are digitally illustrating things, you're still doing something. This is just, jumping Jesus on a pogo stick at, a rave. And, here you go, some generated bullshit of that. But it's missing the humanity of it. Like when you really look into that, there's no soul to any of this AI generated crap. And it's all crap. And like I said before, if you're offended by this, good, be more offended. Anyways, I'm just here to speak, on behalf of myself as an artist and content creator, on behalf of my friends and colleagues that are affected by this. So, fuck AI. And I hope that more people will get over the ooh shiny of it all and really see through it. Because I will not support. I mean, I'm trying not to, but it's also like, it's getting on the same, you become very limited if you're like trying to avoid, businesses that use AI. I mean, at least, like I use Dreams Time for stock photography, illustration stuff. I use it a lot on my like YouTube thumbnails or product labels and stuff like that. But at least they have in the search thing a little button that says exclude AI generated. So at least I can exclude it that way. I know Canva just added some AI features and I'm just like, seriously? Or it's like AI wants to, even like my the Shopify, which I use for the website, it's like, do you want AI help to write, your product descriptions? No, I do not want AI help for that. It's tempting because sometimes writing things is not easy when you're neurospicy, but I want it to, I have a voice because I do write. I am a writer. I just haven't published anything, but I do write. I have been writing for 33 years. Well, no, I've published some stuff, but like low, like. Anyways, the journals of bad goth poetry. Anyways, but I have a voice. I have a way of speaking and writing in my own way. I don't want to upload that to the plagiarism machines, So, anyways, I'm sure this is not the last in my rants on AI bullshit, but anyways, I'm just trying to talk about how it's affecting the occult communities, whether it's, content creators, writers, artists, etc., because there's a lot of occult artists out there too. So, anyways, thank you for watching. Don't forget to click like and subscribe, and love y'all.